Hey guys, Russ here, and just wanted to give you some good information. This is actually a response video from a question from one of our members, and it's a very good question. It's how to deal with realtors when they contact you. Let me just say right off the bat, I used to be a realtor. I love realtors; they're good folks. Most of them are. Some of them are not, but most of them are for the most part. And this video really is designed to kind of give you some tips and some information that will help you because you're going to get realtors that are contacting you on the ads that you've got posted. They're going to want to. A lot of them are scouring Craigslist and other sites in the sublet wanted area, for example, saying, maybe I can pick up some business this way. And it's not a bad way of doing it. It's not the way I would do it, but it's the way that a lot of people do traditionally still to this day because they have not learned a whole lot of technology, advanced stuff, a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing here and that you're going to be learning. So they'll go through the ads and they'll call and see if they can pick up some business. Or they'll send you an email reply to your ads in Craigslist and see if they can get business that way. So this video is to give you some of the pros and cons of why you should and why you shouldn't work with realtors, and then you decide. What you'll find is the end result here is really you can just kind of let them know here's what I want for the deal, and you either accept it or you don't. And I think that's fair, and I think it's also good to be upfront when you're doing that, so that way you don't waste your time or theirs. All right, so let's get into the material here. The pros for working with realtors is that some homeowners won't do a deal with you unless there is a realtor involved, and you'll find that they don't know, like, or trust you, so um, they don't know who you are, and you're just somebody from out of state, or maybe you're doing business in state, and if they don't know who you are, they're going to want a licensed realtor that's close by, and you'll hear them, they'll say that to you. I don't know, I want a licensed realtor. Not that a licensed realtor is going to do any better of a job. In fact, most of them don't, and especially when it comes to creative financing, most of them don't even know how to do creative financing. So again, this is not a bashing realtors video, but I'm just giving it to you as blunt as I can. I used to be one. I was never trained in creative financing, and so the misconception that homeowners have is that. Um, but that said, most of the folks that we're going to be targeting, as far as homeowners are concerned, primarily don't want realtors involved because that's why they're for sale by owner. They're FISBOs. These are folks that want to sell their house themselves. Um, okay, so let's see. So some homeowners. So the advantage here. Sorry, I lost concentration there for a second. Um, the advantage here is that they won't do a deal unless there's a realtor involved. So if you have a realtor, you could potentially save a deal, uh, and so that would be an advantage. You have a ready-made salesperson at the home. And that's kind of cool too. I mean, think about it. If you're doing a showing and you've got a licensed realtor there, buyers potentially are going to feel pretty good about having a licensed realtor there. Although, trust me, 99.9% of our deals, I never have a realtor. Just so you know, 99%, if not 99.9. And because the buyer is working directly with the homeowner, um, they feel good just the same because they know that they're dealing with the actual homeowner. In fact, a lot of buyers prefer not to deal with a realtor because they know that a realtor is going to require a credit check, an application that is a lot more strict uh, than what you would be dealing with if you're dealing with just Joe Schmo homeowner who's a nice guy. It's just a lot more easier. So um, it kind of goes both ways. So this is a potential pro that you have a ready-made salesperson for the person that is skeptical and wants a realtor in place, both either the seller or the buyer. They will show the home for you again. That's a potential positive, but so will the homeowner. So again, 99.9% of the cases, the homeowner does just the same, and it's fine. It works very, very smoothly. In fact, oftentimes works even better. But this is a potential pro for it. They can provide state approved contracts. So for the homeowner that says I want state approved contracts, let's say for example the deal was in Colorado. Colorado State Department of Real Estate has their own specific state approved contracts, and the homeowner there, you'll run into them that want that state approved contract written by a licensed realtor that you can't do because you're not a licensed realtor in that state unless you are. Um, but in most cases, you won't be. So this is again rare, not necessary. We draft contracts ourselves, and we always encourage the homeowner have an attorney, a licensed real estate attorney, not just an attorney. That's really, really important what I'm saying. So if you're taking notes, you want to write that down. You want to encourage your clients to have an attorney, but that be a real estate attorney, not a tax attorney, not a family law or divorce attorney. That's nothing to do with real estate. You want them to be a licensed professional in real estate law that understands creative financing. Otherwise, what you're going to be saying to them is going to sound like gibberish. So anyway, that's a little side tip there. But so this could be a potential pro. Again, just to preface one more time, most of this is not necessary. In fact, most of it we do not even need to ever work with realtors, almost ever. But I do hire realtors. I have in the past, and they have served me well. Some of them have not. Some of them have done terrible on multiple properties. But some have made me some more money, more money than I would have gotten. So I would say on the whole, you don't need to work with realtors, but if you do, these are the reasons why. They can pull comps for the home and give you valuable area pricing information. So that's pretty good. I mean, if you're not familiar with the state and the pricing in that particular area, this is great information. It gives you an idea of whether the property is priced well. So we're also going to show you how to price homes yourself within this Memo area, and you'll see that in the tools, the resource tools for investors section. You can see how to price property by plugging in the address, the rental amount, and the amount of bedrooms. And within 30 seconds at rentalmeter.com, for example, you can get that information right away. So this is going to be more detailed. It's going to look more professional, but you can get pretty much the same thing elsewhere. They can ensure the homeowner doesn't burn you. And that's in general some cases. Some cases not. Homeowners can still burn you if they want to. 9 out of 10 deals that I do, if not 9.5, do not even think about burning you. So don't worry about that. Don't let that consume you. It consumed me when I first started. I was like, well, if I don't ever see the property, how am I gonna avoid getting burned? But the reality is, most folks are pretty good. In my experience, I have had a few people try, and I caught them, and some people I didn't catch. I'm sure, but I would say 9.5 out of 10 times you're not going to have this problem. Cons: you got to pay them a commission, right? I'm an investor, so my goal is to be as profitable with my investments as I possibly can. That makes sense. If a realtor was an investor, not many of them are, they want to make the most profit they can too. They want to make the biggest commission, right? So, I don't like to have to pay my commission if I don't have to. That said, if a realtor's commission makes me more money, I will gladly pay them part of my profits as a fee to them. Realtors are not fond of lease option deals because they won't get paid for 1 to 5 years. Realtors get paid when the property transfers title to another homeowner, and that normally happens within a month, 2 months, 3 months of processing a buyer through a bank loan. And a lease option, we're giving terms, and those terms can be anywhere from 1 to 5 years, sometimes even longer. So think about what incentive a realtor would actually want to have by telling their client, "Oh yeah, you should go with Joe Schmo in such and such state that you've never seen, never met, have no clue about, and I definitely think you should go for it because I'm going to get paid in the next 1 to 5 years." It's just not going to happen. They're not going to do that. So when we structure our payment, and I'll show you that in a minute, we pay them up front. So if you do with a realtor, you pay them up front, and that can usually be anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks if the property is priced right. Otherwise, it'd be 30 days, sometimes 60 days if it's priced wrong. But when you get paid, they get paid. So That's the way you structure a deal like that. Otherwise, they have no incentive to tell their client they should work with you. They are not trained in them. So, like I mentioned earlier, I was never trained as a realtor, and I did pretty well as a realtor. I made a lot of money, but I had never been trained in creative financing, and I'd heard about other realtors working with investors. Many of them, in the industry, they say that realtors and investors don't typically get along because realtors are more cutthroat and typically asking the realtor to offer half price on properties and that kind of stuff. And realtors don't like to do that because it makes them look bad and makes them feel bad and all that kind of stuff. We're not those kind of investors anyway. We get full price because we're getting terms in return. So we're not even in the same category in that sense because that's not the nature of the way that we're doing these deals, lease option rent to own deals. So it doesn't really apply to us. As I mentioned earlier, they don't know, like, or trust you. So again, there's very little incentive. That's why this is also, by the way, very important reason why in the process of talking with the realtor, they want to make sure that they've gone to the website first before they talk to me, because sorry, I got some allergies here. Because they need information, and even if they talk to me today, they're going to still end the conversation by saying, "I'd like to see more information. Do you have a website?" So why not have them look at the website? We've got a 15-minute video at tenantbuyerlist.com that they can watch and get information. So, you know, I would say have them do that always first, and then after I'll talk to them. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for them to know, like, and trust you. They do not want to try to explain this to their clients. I mentioned that earlier. It's a real thing, hard thing for them to do, and they think that you're breaking brokering laws because the nature of the deals that we do appear to a lot of realtors that are uninformed about lease options as because we're saying we've got buyers, for example. I'm working with this homeowner client. The language that you use can come across easily to a realtor as if you are being or acting like a realtor because it sounds like you're representing. You are not representing anybody. You're not representing anybody but yourself. So, and that's what I'll explain here just in a minute, and I'll give you some verbiage. You can also download this PDF right below here and push button investor.com's membership portal. It'll be right below this video. But you are not breaking any brokering laws because you're only representing yourself. If you're selling your home for sale by owner, you're not representing anybody, right? You're selling it for sale by owner. You're representing yourself in your interest. If a buyer is buying a house, they're not representing the seller. They're representing themselves, the buyer. Well, we are a buyer of lease option rights. We are not transferring title, and that's one of the critical elements here. We are being extended by the homeowner the lease option rights. It's a legal right. It's personal property. It's not real property, meaning not real. The word real meaning real estate. It's not real property. It's personal property, like a couch is personal property, for example. So they're giving us paperwork, basically, that we're buying from them with no money down strategies, and then we're turning around and selling that paperwork to an end buyer who buys the paperwork from us. So we're not selling the house. There's no transfer of title right now. So that's a big difference. Plus, we don't when we say buyers are my buyers, they're not my buyers. They've not signed an agreement with me, so they're not my client. And the agreement that the seller signs with me is not a brokering relationship. I'm not representing them. There's no representation in that agreement. It's just giving me the rights to sell. So that's a little bit about brokering law. If you get when you work with realtors, they get confused about that, and that becomes a thing that you'll even get some nasty emails or phone calls about that, and that's just because they are simply uninformed, do not know law, and you can let them know right up front they need to talk to their broker or talk to a attorney and find out a little bit more about that before they say something they shouldn't. And you can also ask them for their real estate license too if they get a little nasty. All right, little tidbit there. So what I do? So what I like to do is be upfront, tell them what kind of a deal that I'm trying to put together, so they're real clear up front. I don't waste any time. I tell them how much they're going to get paid. So now this part here is a little tricky because if you're a beginner investor with pushbuttoninvestor.com, you're making $500 to $1,000, at least at the point of this video. So um, what I offer them is half the first month's rent. Well, if half the first month's rent is $500, and you and I are splitting, obviously the numbers are not going to work. So this is what I do. As you come across these situations, just be in touch with me, Russell, and um, I'll walk you through whether we can put a deal together or not. But when you do your own deals in the future, when you move up to the advanced investor program, and you put these deals together, I would say offer them half the first month's rent for a straight rental. So if you send them a tenant buyer and the homeowner says, I'm just gonna have them rent. They don't need to buy. I just need to get this property taken care of like tomorrow, or today. Then they take your tenant buyer and make them now into a buyer. So I'm sorry, into a straight renter only. So in that case, you're going to give them half the first month's rent. Obviously, you want to make sure that half the first month's rent is worth your time. And if they sell a lease option, a full lease option, and the homeowner takes your tenant buyer, the realtor will get the full month's rent. So you want to make sure that that's enough money for them as well and attractive. Realtors are used to big commissions, so this may not be attractive to them. In many cases, it's not. And of course, in this case, you would keep the full option fee and they would get the first month's full rent. All right. So I just mentioned that. So the note here again is just to mention that, to keep that in mind. The other thing I do is I just ignore them. And in most cases, guys, I know it's a long video and just kind of going through all this, but in most cases, you're going to just ignore them because you can't put a deal together with them. If it's a small deal, like let's say the rental amount is 600 a month, splitting that and it's $300 a month, for the first month's rent, if you do a straight rental, or if it's a full month's rent, $600 to them for the first month's rent is just not going to be appealing to most realtors unless they're like super desperate. Because they're used to getting three, five, 10, 15, $20,000, if not more, depending on the state. Here in California, it's huge commissions. But some are open because they need the cash flow. Because even though you can get a big commission on a deal, if your deal doesn't close for months, you're not getting any money. Period. So little deals like this, quick deals, are attractive. Here is some verbiage. Well, actually, see. Okay, so I mentioned that earlier. The challenges that we do similar work, but we do not represent anybody. So it looks the same, but it is not at all the same. Wording that you can put in your ads as a PS. And PSs are great because PSs are typically what gets read most besides the title of any kind of ad. So I put, we are not brokers and we do not want to list your home on the MLS, which is the multiple listing service. We act as principals only and represent ourselves only. So when I say principal, it means that I am like the for sale by owner guy, or the buyer who's representing their own interests. So I'm acting as owner of something, and that in this case it's a lease option right. I own these rights. It's paper. So what I'm selling is essentially paper. And so I'm representing just my own interests. I don't represent the buyer's interests. I don't represent the seller's interests, just myself. And I don't want to list the property either on the MLS, because if this ad is being seen, or if you're sending out email marketing to a homeowner and they think that you're trying to list their property and they're for sale by owner folks, they're going to get upset about that. Or if this is seen by the realtor of a homeowner and they think that you're another realtor trying to take their listing, that is breaking the law. And they'll be really upset. I've had some nasty emails because they thought that I was a realtor trying to take a listing of theirs, which is breaking state law. And no, we're not trying to do that. So that's why I put these PSs in there. Again, you can get this at the in the PDF right below this video. But I hope this helps. Again, in 9 times out of 10, you're going to simply ignore the realtor and won't work with them. But if you can put a deal together, if a homeowner says, I won't deal with you unless you've got our local realtor, then this is how you would put the deal together. This is how I structure it, and it works. And I've successfully closed deals like this doing it this way. Okay. Pushbuttoninvestor.com. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video.